Match number 58, Rajasthan Royals versus the Delhi Capitals. A must win game for both the teams to solidify their playoffs chances, but it was Delhi Capitals who stood out. Today, in the post match show, I welcome my distinguished guests, Devashish Sir and Joydeep Mukherjee. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining. Before we begin with the dissection, we'll begin first with Devashish Sir. Your opinions about Delhi's win tonight?
It was a convincing win. It goes without saying. And once again, David Warner proved what a match winner he is. Means if he stays in the middle, then the job is done. And credit should also go to Mitchell Marsh the way he played. And it was a dominating batting, and it was his first 50 as well. And David Warner once again, he proved he's a giant in the IPL. Again, 400 plus runs. This is consecutive for 5 seasons, if I'm not wrong. 4 seasons or 5 seasons that he have crossed 400 runs now. So that proves that he's such a big match player. Damini.
Yes, sir, absolutely. Joydeep, sir, how would you sum up Delhi's approach? Yes, definitely they won. It was a thumping victory. How would you sum up Delhi's approach into this must-win game for them? Because it was a must-win game for both Rajasthan and Delhi, but Delhi seemed much stronger than Rajasthan.
Yeah, I was a little surprised by some of Rajasthan's tactics. I'll come to that, but I was amazed at Mitchell Marsh, 89 of 62. He was the star because this was not an easy wicket to bat on. The ball was turning. There was a lot of bounce. Prasidh Krishna hit David Warner in the gloves. If you are actually surprising the Aussies with bounce, then you know they're special bounce because they grow up on bounce. But in spite of that, they were surprised by the bounce, not once, but a few times. And today, David Warner was off color, but he just showed if he's off color, he's 41 ball 52. When he's on color, he's 41 ball 92. Okay? And when he's fully on color, he's 41 ball 112. But all I'm saying here is it's because of Mitchell Marsh's knock that today Warner could play a 41 ball 52 and still win the game. If Mitchell Marsh had got out, and there were instances where it was looking a little dodgy in between, Warner almost tipped in the boundary, Warner dropped by Butler. I thought Rajasthan, two things that really surprised me. Why did Sanju Samson bat so late? I know Ashwin came and got a 50, in 38 balls, but Sanju Samson could have got in 38 balls 80. For me, he has to bat. You have to give your best batters the maximum amount of chance. If he didn't come at 3, he should have come at 4. I know Padikkal got 30 ball 48, but Sanju Samson is their best player after Josh Butler. So he's got to be able to get into the park. And I thought they did not fully optimize their batting strength. This 160 could have been 185, 190. That's the point I'm trying to make. If Sanju goes in, gets out, these guys go and do this, I can understand. But with Sanju in the heart and him coming in the 15th over, we're not optimizing his talent, his utility to the team. Second, Chahal has to bowl earlier. What are you keeping your 2 overs for? These two guys are going hammer and tongs. You get one of them out, you're somewhat in the game. You get both of them out, you're back in the game. And every time Chahal bowled, I know he got hit for a few sixes. And you always want him to bowl to the Aussies rather than to the Indians because the Indians play him well. The Indians play him in the nets. Rishabh keeps to him. So he's not that much of a bag of tricks to a Rishabh Pant. But to Mitchell Marsh and David Warner, he's got to bowl in 3 on the trot. Because you have to get these guys out. It wouldn't have happened that Mitchell Marsh is 47 not out and David Warner is 37 not out and Delhi loses the game with 7 wickets. And that's not going to happen. You've got to get these guys out. Who's your best bowler in this team to get these 2 guys out? For me, it was Chahal.
Brilliantly pointed out. And now let's begin with Rajasthan Royals batting first. This question I'll begin with Joydeep sir, of course, because Joydeep sir, you have on multiple occasions, whenever Rajasthan comes to bat, you have highlighted that Rajasthan's weakest link is if the opposition gets Josh Butler as quickly as possible. And that's exactly what happened today. Bringing in Chetan Sakaria to bowl, Chetan Sakaria got the big wicket of Josh Butler, perhaps at the right time. And would you believe that, as you said, that Rajasthan should have have scored at least a 185, 190, which ended up being a 160, though a hard fought one. Did Josh Butler's wickets that early in the power play make the difference?
Of course it did. And for me, because Josh Butler got out, Sanju Samson had to come. If Josh Butler was there, Ashwin could have come. You need one slam bang player to be there. Ashwin is an outstanding cricketer, but he's not a slam bang batsman. His best is a 38 ball 50. Whereas Jaiswal got a 19 ball 90, Padikkal got a 30 ball 48. These are very, very useful. But Sanju Samson can do things that no other player in this team except Josh Butler can do. So if you have lost your number one striker, then what do? You get a number two striker in. And they delayed so much, they let the game drift. And when he came, it was the fag end, he went to hit. And I've seen Sanju, whenever he comes at 4 or 5, it doesn't work for him. He's a 1-2-3 player. All his runs, all his best knocks are at 1-2-3. So I thought they missed a trick there.
Absolutely. So, Devashish sir, I'll come to you. Talking about and highlighting Sanju Samson's captaincy when Rajasthan were batting, a tactical and very interesting move to bring in Ravichandran Ashwin at number 3 when Josh Butler got out. Ashwin, yes, he was good in maneuvering the opposition bowlers, tackling them very well, scoring that half century of 38 deliveries. But the rotation of the strike you found a bit weak because Jaiswal seemed to get less of deliveries to face, him ending up to score a 19 ball 19.
Yeah, as Joydipda rightly pointed out, the need of the hour was to see Sanju Samson walking in at number 3, which was not the case tonight. So that was perhaps the biggest blunder that Rajasthan made tonight, and also nothing taking away from Ashwin the way he batted, but then definitely you need someone who could tear apart the bowling, opponent bowling, which was not the case. Ashwin did batted well. He improvised. He played some lovely shots over the infield. But having said that,
Yeah,
he
Debashish,
got,
even after that number 4, Padikkal, 30 ball 48. This could have been
yeah,
30 ball 68, 78.
right,
Because that's what Sanju
exactly,
Samson can do.
exactly. That is where Rajasthan lost the plot tonight, because had Sanju Samson went in at number 3, things would have been different. Means perhaps they could have scored at least 25-30 runs more, which would
Easily.
have made things different.
If he gets off. If he doesn't get off,
Yeah,
this is a score we'll fight with.
yeah,
It's like a lifeline you haven't used.
and
But if you
strangely,
use him, today Mitchell Marsh came at 3. If he got out, somebody else would have come. But the day he plays, he wins you the game.
right, and strangely, Joydeep, that Sanju has batted at number 3. It's not that he has
Yeah.
not batted in the
No,
IPL
I think
this
they've taken
season.
a punt with Ashwin. That
Yeah,
punt came off. At 4, you had to send him. The more
right,
you're keeping him down, the more you're giving him less balls. You want your best batters to go and play as many balls as they can. If they can't, then the others go and do the repair job. The
right.
repair job doesn't happen before the main guys gets out. It's called a repair job because you've lost somebody. So there's no repair here. The main guy is sitting inside. So where's the repair?
Absolutely. Too many ifs and buts in Sanju Samson's approach when Rajasthan Royals were batting. One batsman, however, perhaps has found his form, Devdutt Padikkal, though his innings raised quite a lot of eyebrows because a 30 ball 48 from a player like Devdutt Padikkal at a situation when he was batting seemed quite slow because Rajasthan at one point was struggling to keep their run rate at par to set a high target. So, would you say that Sanju Samson's experimentation in this match, which was a must-win game for them to, completely cement their spot in the playoffs race, actually cost them the match? He shouldn't have done so much of experimentation with the hierarchy of Rajasthan's top order. Devashish sir.
Yeah, it's a business end of the tournament, and you need to win so as to guarantee your place in the playoffs. And in this juncture, why should you experiment? Why would you experiment? Because true, Yashasvi Jaiswal has played a brilliant knock in the last match. But having said that, you started the season with Devdutt Padikkal and Josh Butler, left hand right hand combination. So and we all know last season for RCB, Devdutt Padikkal, the last couple of seasons with RCB, Devdutt Padikkal has been opening the batting and has done well. It's not that he hasn't, and he also opens the batting for Karnataka. So someone who is normally opens the batting in this shorter format, to ask him to go down the order means obviously, um, uh, as you rightly said, that too much of experimentation has been going on with Rajasthan Royals in the business end of the tournament.
And I'm not so sure this is Sanju Samson's idea because he loves batting in the top three. It must be a team call, which he's just followed. He's a lovely boy. He's a great lad. And he'll do anything for the team. He'll take a bullet for the team. He'll bat at number 11 for the team. But I think this was more of a team call because he loves to bat in the top three. I've worked with him. I've known him from KKR days. I'm in touch with him. I meet him when he plays for Kerala. And I know he loves to bat in the top three. He loves that new ball. He loves that the power play. That's where his strengths lie. So I'm not sure this is his call. This is a team call, which is very obediently followed.
Yes, absolutely. At times, it might get very tough for even the team skipper to take certain calls for the betterment of the team, perhaps due to pressure from authorities.
Actually,
Now
Damli,
we'll.
what happens is the
Yes, sir.
coach, the senior players feel that this is a way of going about it. Then, as a captain, you cannot say, I will bat at three,
Yeah.
okay? Because you're the captain of the team, you're the captain of the ship. So, if everybody around you feels that this is the way, now probably today, as we speak, they'll also realize it didn't work and they might mend their ways. Whether they will or not,
Yes,
time will tell.
absolutely.
But
Yes.
what you do in a team sport is you never put yourself ahead of the team.
Yeah, absolutely.
I,
You're always playing for
That's
the
I,
the
team.
I,
reason
You're
why.
always playing for the franchise.
I
Yes,
I
sir.
have a question. I have a question to Joydip. Joydip, don't you feel that in a franchisee cricket there's too much pressure on the captain, because the man who matters on in the middle, they hardly get an opportunity to put forward their case, as was the case with Shreyas Iyer. Now it's happening with Sanju Samson. Too much of it's kind of.
Devashish, you tell me where in which level of cricket, where there are 100,000 people and the popularity of the IPL or the Indian team, where is there no pressure? There's
There's pressure
always pressure.
everywhere. Pressure
Yeah,
everywhere.
pressure everywhere. This is franchise, so a lot of people are involved beyond just the coach. In the Indian team, there's the owner, there's coach,
Hmm.
batting coach, bowling coach, fielding coach, you know. So here there are owners, but I think this is a team call. I think this is a call where Sukumara Sangakkara is involved, the assistant coaches are involved, George Butler is involved, and they must have seen some good coming out of it also. It didn't work out today. What if today they lost 3 wickets for 15 and he comes at number 5 and gets a 70 of 37 balls? So in hindsight, life is a lot easier. But today, because Josh Butler went early, I thought he should have come in. If Josh Butler was there, I don't mind saving him back because he's got one swashbuckling player to do the job. But nobody can bat like Josh Butler and Sanju Samson. As good
Right.
as Ashwin, and I say this with utmost respect for Ashwin and Padikkal. So since Josh Butler is gone, you got to get Sanju Samson in. So often we see two people padded up, okay? And the coach comes and says, okay, guys, the plan is that if Josh gets out, Sanju, you're going. And if Yashashvi gets out, Ashwin's going. It's happened many times before. So that probably would have been the right call. But again, in hindsight, life is a lot easier.
Yes, very good insights from both of you. Now I will come to Joydeep sir. One change which Rajasthan Royals were, let's just say, forced to make was to get in Rassi Vander Durson in place of Shimron Hetmeyer, provided Hetmeyer's unavailability. Would you say Rassi Vander Durson, the job that he was expected to do, did not live up to the expectations as such, because Hetmeyer is the certified pinch hitter for Rajasthan Royals, and he has lived up to the expectations on multiple occasions. But Rasi, he played a disappointing knock of 12 of 10 deliveries, and that death over that he faced against Shardul Thakur. Well, Shardul Thakur, of course, is a brilliant bowler, but Rasi Vander Durson never looked to, go for those big shots. How would you dissect Rasi's
Yeah, I think
performance?
he played 10 balls. He got 12. Hetmeyer would have got 30. So 18 runs, they would have still lost the game because they easily Delhi won the game. So I don't think it was Van de Dusen that made the reason that Rajasthan lost today. Yes, Hetmeyer cannot be replaced by Van Dusen because Van Dusen is also batting at an out of position. He bats at 4. He's batting at 6. So he's been asked to do things which is not his role. He's just filling in because Hetmeyer is not there. Hetmeyer plays a different brand of cricket. Van de Dussen plays a different brand of cricket. So he's just filling in. So it's not apple for apple. Number one. Number two is, under the circumstances, I don't think it was his innings or his lack of hitting in the last 5 balls is the reason why Rajasthan lost. I think I've put my reasons earlier.
And I would also like to add to that point is that see the strike rate of Shimran Hetmeyer, 170 odd in the IPL so far. So, and with him missing the last couple of matches, Rajasthan looks totally out. Means, they didn't have an answer to that, because Hetmeyer, the kind of innings he played in so far in the IPL, that big strokes, strike rate is very important in the middle order, and he has been
Especially at the,
striking. Yeah,
especially at the end.
absolutely, Joydeep. Then
They
someone
won't have a
who is
bulk of runs. They won't have 400 runs a season. They won't average 40, but their strike rate will be 170, 180 because they add the cream on top.
absolutely, and that is what has been making the difference for Rajasthan Royals as far
Yeah,
as
that was missing
batting
today.
is
That's
concerned.
evident. But it's not
So
Van de
Devashish,
Dussen's
sir,
fault.
yes, sir.
It's not his fault that you're asking him to do what Hetmeyer does. That's not his brand.
Right.
So, Debashish sir, in this context, adding to what you have just highlighted, would you say that Rajasthan at this juncture are too much reliant on their batting, be it Jaws Butler always expected to
Absolutely,
fire, being
absolutely,
the orange cap holder, and Rajasthan Royals missing Hitmaya terribly? Would you say that?
absolutely. Those are the two go-to batsmen for Rajasthan as far as Rajasthan is concerned, along with Sanju Samson. So this Rajasthan Royals batting is revolving around these three batters: Butler, Hetmeyer, Sanju Samson, and the rest they are
Chip in.
kind of support
The chip
chipping
in.
in, chip in. So these are the three main players, and you have Sanju Samson coming in at number 5, and Hetmeyer not in that playing 11, and
And
Butler
Butler
goes out
perishing early.
and
Yeah, very good
perishing
point.
early. So
Very good
that
point.
made the difference.
So there was no bulk of the scoring. Everybody did their bit and went away. It wasn't enough. This was a 180, 185 wicket,
Right.
which Mitchell Marsh and David Warner shot. Yes, there was some juice, but there was value for shots as well. Mitchell Marsh just hit a ball into the second tier.
Absolutely. And now coming to Delhi Capitals' bowling, I'll break it into two halves: the Pacers at one point and the spin. The Pacers perhaps were the pick of the bowlers. Norgye picking up, 4 overs, 39 runs, 2 wickets. Mitchell Marsh being very useful, 3 overs, 25 runs, 2 wickets. Sakaria again standing out, 4 overs, 23 runs, and 2 wickets. But let's talk about the spin twins, Akshar Patel and Kuldeep Yadav, not at all looking effective. Joydeep sir, how would you dissect DC's bowling? This such a contrast. The pacers doing all the job, spinners having so much expectations being levied on them did not live up to their
Yeah, I think
expectations.
this wicket was more suited to help the fast bowlers in the first place. Unless you're a Yajuvendra Chahal, he even hit the stumps, grazed past the stumps. The light came out, but the bails didn't fall. So obviously, I think the way that Kuldeep, I thought could have made it because he also tosses the ball in the air and doesn't depend so much help from, doesn't depend on the pitch for help so much as an Akshar Patel does, or even to some extent an Ashwin does, because he doesn't bowl his slow off spin. He just bowls, the carom ball and the quickish off spin to the left-handers. So I thought that today, Akshar, I knew was not going to be very effective on this wicket. He will be more of a containing job. But the guy who really amazes me is Chetan Sakaria. Only in the game because Khalil missed out 423-2. How good is this kid? He looks innocuous, little hop of his, goes about his business, keeps smiling, gets Josh Butler in the power play, comes back and gets another wicket. How good is this kid? This is the success of the IPL for me. Players like Sakaria, Saurashtra, Jaydev Unadkat's protege, learned from Jaydev Unadkat. And, today he's in the 11 and Jaydev Unadkat is struggling to make it to the 11. So this is how, you learn from the best and then you become one of the best. It's not easy. From Saurashtra, who are more known for their red ball prowess, they are the Ranji Trophy champions. They don't have a great record in Vijay Hazare and Mushtaq Ali. But look at this kid.
And
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 adding,
and and,
yes, sir,
and, and
Devashi sir.
Sakaria wasn't in that playing 11 at the start of the season. It was only just a few matches that he has been playing since.
Yeah, now you can't leave him out. How can you leave
Yeah.
him out after 223-4?
What I think Khalil Ahmed has an injury that
Yeah,
he
I'm
might
sure
be
that's
out
because
of the
Khalil
remainder
has
of the
bowled
IPL.
superbly also. See, I understand the problem. If Khalil is fit, they have a problem. They don't know who to drop. That's a better problem than having who to play. Okay,
Right.
because Khalil has done really well, he's turned around. I'm really happy because a couple of years back we saw Khalil and we said, "Wow," and then he lost his way. Be it injuries, it can happen. But how well has he come back? You fall down, but it's how you get up that people remember.
And adding on to Joydeep sir's insights on Chetan Sakaria, Devashish sir, would you reckon Chetan Sakaria has already represented India? He has debuted for India. Would you reckon him as a hopeful for the World Cups or future India series?
Why not try him? Because India is playing too many T20 matches ahead of the T20 World Cup. There's 5 matches coming up against South Africa, followed by 3 against England, 2 against Ireland. Perhaps he might be tried at the Ireland series because the Test squad will be playing the Test match against England at Birmingham. So, and at the same time, the another Indian squad will be taking on Ireland in 2 T20 matches. Perhaps that's the best time to try someone like a Chetan Sakaria, or
And
even
I
for that
also
matter.
know I also know one Indian by the name of Sen who'll be there
Kuldeep
in
Sen,
England
you reckon?
watching these games.
Yeah.
No, I'm watching. Kuldeep Sen won't be watching. I know one
Oh,
Devashish Sen who'll be watching these games from the press box.
no, no, but then I think these
Yeah, but
these
he has
matches.
competition. Devashish, he has Mohsin, he has a lot of competition. This time one or
Yeah,
two like
Mohsin,
keepers are
Khalil.
coming out.
Yeah,
A
he
lot
has
of
a lot of fun
unbelievable.
competition.
So there is
Yeah,
competition, and it's good to see. I agree with Devashish. So many games, your load management and all that. The new terms. So we could well see him, and he doesn't always look the part, but he always does the job. When you see him bowling the
Absolutely.
nets and in the match, you feel like, okay, nice kid, smiling, like chubby kid, and he always does the job for you. He takes good catches. He's smart on the field. So he's just the sort of guy you want. Just this is out of context, but Bengal lost the Ranji Trophy to Saurashtra by 40 runs. He and Unatkar had a 60-run partnership at number 10 and 11.
yes,
So that's
Happy
how
with the
much of a
bat as
utility.
well.
Yeah, so how much of a utility cricketer he is? He doesn't look it. He doesn't have big, bulky left arm seamer, coming. He's just a mild-natured fast bowlers, and fast bowlers can smile their way and still be very effective. Good to see.
and one more thing is that does the hardship that he has to face in losing his father and his brothers and had to suicide. So and all these things going and coming out of of those troubles, it
True.
speaks volumes of his mental strength and determination, because these huge losses can break you, but that was not
Surely,
the case with Shakaria.
surely.
Absolutely, a very inspirational journey for a young Chetan Sakaria, proving his mettle time and again, no matter how hard life hits at him. Now we'll come to Delhi Capitals' batting. Well, the kind of start they had, Shikhar Bharat getting dismissed of that second delivery, Rajasthan seemed to have completely had started rejoicing, well, that's our game. And then suddenly there's Mitchell Marsh and David Warner having that
Couple of big daddies walked in.
unbelievable,
Couple of big
absolutely
daddies walked in. Yeah.
unbelievable 144 run partnership between them. Mitchell Marsh doing majority of the damage. Rajasthan Royals having literally no answer to Mitchell Marsh's tonking. Devashish sir, how would you describe Mitchell Marsh's brilliant innings?
It was as if he was playing at Waka, his home ground. Means he was
Cer-
so
Certainly
fluent.
felt like that with the bounce.
Yeah, he was so fluent with his strokes. Means actually he relieved the pressure somewhat from Warner, because Warner was not at his best initially in his innings. It was Mitchell Marsh who took the attack against the Rajasthan Pacers, I would say. And David Warner, if you notice, Damini, he chose to attack Yajuvendra Chahal right from the fast over. He did
Exactly.
gave a chance. He did give a chance, and that bold happened. The wickets, the bails did not get dislodged. You need a bit of luck as well, and that luck was with Delhi Capitals, and it was heartening to see the Delhi Capitals dugout. Every
Yeah,
that smile
on
was back.
on this,
Exactly.
the Zing bales are a little heavier than the normal bales that we use in days cricket. Because of all the light and technology that goes into the stump, the zinc bales is slightly heavier. If this was a test match, the bales would have fallen because those
Yeah.
are pretty light. But to
Okay.
put light in and wires in, all the things that go into a stump. A stump is not meant to have light and wires inside it. I mean, the bales are not meant to. But once you put all that in, then it becomes a bit heavier, which is why often we've seen in the IPL, sometimes in the previous years, the ball rolling on, hitting the stumps, the bales not falling, because the zinc bales just become a little heavier because of its inputs.
You never know what would have happened had David Warner got out that time because he was only on 19.
True. And there was the hike over mid wicket which just went over Padikkal. Then Butler
Yeah,
almost got there, then stopped early and missed that one because that is something that I'll back Butler to take it 19 times out of 20. So there were two big misses, and then in the same over hit the stumps.
yeah,
So there were three occasions
absolutely.
where he could have got out, and that would have changed the game because that's when Rishabh, Iffy form, rest of the guys
Yeah.
had not there the people, so it would have been. But this is what, like you rightly said, Warner off day, he knew the other guy is in the form of his life. I'm going to just stick around with him. This is smart. No ego, not saying that I'm David Warner, I got to outdo Mitchell Marsh, nothing like that. It's his day, it's not mine. Let me watch from really close, have a good seat in the house. Let me watch Mitchell Marsh bat from 22 years. That's what he did, and stayed not was there till the end. That's why they're the daddy players.
Absolutely.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
when I was watching David Warner bat, I was also going through Twitter, and like literally Twitterati were comparing David Warner to a cat. A cat has 9 lives, and David Warner seemed to be, that cat
Yeah,
having 9 lives time and
today
again.
certainly
Like it
was.
was David Warner's day. It
Today
literally
he
was
certainly
his
was.
day.
Yes, it was.
And David Warner literally showing that the class that he maintains, that he doesn't play for himself, as you rightly pointed out, Jaideep, so that he plays for the team. He always puts his country, franchise, whenever he's playing, whatever he's playing, he will always put his best foot forward for the team. And to actually stand back and let Mitchell Marsh do all the damage against Rajasthan Royals just proves time and again why David Warner is the best in the
And
business. And
and he's not
yes,
used to
sir.
it because he used to play in Hyderabad. It was a lone man army.
Yes,
Kane Williamson, Manish,
absolutely.
Johnny Bairstow, sometimes Ridhiman Shah. It was a one-man army. He's feeling quite happy
Everybody
over
was
here.
dependent on David Warner every time.
Yeah,
David
and
Warner
that's the
had to
reason
come.
why.
Yes, sir.
And that's the reason why he's become the player he is. Because he can take responsibility. He played in a weak batting team to he's come to a strong batting team now. He's saying, oh wow, this is life is good. Mitchell Marsh, who's falling up? Rishabh Pant, he can bat. So life is good. So he has actually taken the brunt of Hyderabad. And Hyderabad was one team which qualified in the top four every year. Two guys stand out, David Warner, Rashid Khan. Yes, Bhuvi was there. Yes, Johnny Bairstow was there. Manish Pandey chipped in. Holder chipped in. But these two guys, one with bat, one with ball, you could just bank on them every single year. And now he's come to a different franchise. He was with Delhi before when they were called the Daredevils. He's come back here. He's in the peak of his career. He's sorted in the head. He knows the whole formula, been there, done that. He's enjoying great life.
Absolutely. And Mitchell Marsh and David Warner, they were like the pinnacles of Australia's success in the T20 World Cup last year as well. Mitchell Marsh playing that brilliant knock in the World Cup final, and David Warner
Man of
winning
the
man of
match.
the series, man of this match.
Man of the match, man of the
Devashish.
series batting together.
Exactly. So, Devashi sir, did you see that spark? Those two World Cup champions playing that kind of cricket in today's match as well, because it was a must-win game for both the teams, and it looked as if Mitchell Marsh and David Warner had literally understood the meaning and lived up. That yes, it's a must-win game, and we have to play it as if it is a World Cup final.
It highlights once again that these are the two integral players in that Delhi TC squad along with Rishabh Pant. If they fire on their given day, then Delhi Capitals will 9 out of 10 times they will end up winning the matches. And need of the hour is that all three. I'm not. I'm also taking into account Rishabh Pant. All three batters need to fire if Delhi has any semblance of a chance because they are now have risen to fifth spot and with 12 points, and we could see that Rajasthan Royals is at third and RCB is at fourth spot with 14 points each. So Delhi Capitals cannot afford any slip ups. Any slip up, they are out of the playoffs. So David Warner Mitchell Marsh, Rishabh Pant, all three needs to fire with the bat.
Absolutely, each and every win and loss from here on, be this being the business end of the IPL, will affect each and every team. Those who are ranked below from four to down will affect. There are literally five teams fighting for the top three positions now. So this was match number 58, Rajasthan Royals versus the Delhi Capitals, a must-win game for both the teams. At Delhi Capitals rising to the occasion and thumping Rajasthan by 8 wickets, winning convincingly and almost cementing their playoffs berth. Let's talk about the very important and big match coming up, Clash of the Titans tomorrow. Match number 59, Chennai Super Kings and Mumbai Indians. An unfortunate turn of events for them. Not a journey they would like to remember in this edition, but historically, they are the two of the most successful IPL teams. So we'll begin with the predictions. Joydeep sir, we'll start with you. Chennai or Mumbai?
Difficult one. Who's playing worse?
Oh God.
I'm going to go with
It's
Chennai.
9 versus 10, unfortunately. Would you believe
I'm,
it?
go-
CSK
I'm,
and
going,
MI.
I'm going with 9 because they're one ahead. I'm going with Chennai.
Devashish sir?
I am also going with 9 because Mumbai, every time I count my money on Mumbai, they end up losing.
No, you did it last time, okay? You did it against KKR. Don't do it. Come on. Come on,
No, no,
it's
I still,
Dhoni.
but then Chennai losing out Jadeja is a big blow.
It
Definitely,
is.
although he's not
Huge
in
blow.
form, he's not in the best of form. He has looked off color in the IPL, but still, Jadeja on his day can turn things around single-handedly.
True.
And so, but then good thing for the biggest positive for Chennai to have come out in last couple of matches is Devon Conway. The form he is in, the batting he has been doing at the top with Ruturaj Gaikwad. So and the inclusion of Mais Thikshana, he has been a revelation for CSK as far as their bowling is concerned. So I think lot many positives in the last three matches, although they've lost one among the three that Dhoni led. But still, I would bank my money. I will put my money on Chennai Super Kings to come out with flying colors tomorrow night.
Sounds good. Very good.
Sounds good. Sounds very good. So the entire support is with the Yellow Army. Thala Dhoni, perhaps he will lead the way he leads. Captain Cool, always remembered. So tomorrow, this was today, match number 58, Delhi Capitals again, once again, winning it beautifully against the Rajasthan Royals. And tomorrow at 7 p.m., we meet for the big game, the Clash of the Titans, match number 59, CSK versus MI. Until then, good night, thank you, and take care.
Thank you,
Thank you and good
Darshini.
night.
Thank you, Jadida. Good
Thank you.
night.